Hey guys, and welcome to Pretty Eyes. My name is Lavana. If this is your first time watching this show is based off of domestic violence survivors' life after. The name of this show is called Pretty Eyes because there is life after domestic violence. Today I have a special guest, and I'm going to be asking her a few questions about the domestic violence that she endured in the past. This is also my cousin and also my favorite cousin at that. Also, I'm going to be asking her a series of questions. She's going to tell her story, and hopefully this will be very empowering to someone that may need this information, or maybe if someone's also in an abusive relationship, they'll be able to get out, take these hints, these steps, these things that we both went through. And as y'all know, that I'm also a domestic violence survivor as well. It was also 20 years ago, but it's never too late to tell your story. So with that being said, before I get started, at the end I'm going to be leaving some of the web information. So if someone would like to reach out or talk to me, or if you don't want to talk to me, you'll have some information where you can talk to someone, because counseling is very important. So with that being said, with further ado, let me get started, and I would let Chasidy start her story. But the first question that I would like to ask you, Chasidy, is how are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I'm good, and I'm just so glad that my cousin is here doing this, because this is very important. And like I said, guys, even though it was a long time ago, it's never too late to tell your story, because sometimes different things can affect you going into your future relationships with people that you may meet, after that, it's been over. So the first question I would like to ask you, Chasidy, is how long were you in the abusive relationship?
Well, I was in the abusive relationship for probably about 13, 14 years.
Okay. And when you were in that abusive relationship, tell the people, how did it make you feel when those moments would occur?
Sad, worthless, tired, used.
Yeah,
and
that's true,
definitely
yeah.
abused. I just felt like I didn't have no one to go to. He was my husband, so I, just tried to stay and hang on to the relationship, but it was a dead end relationship. It wasn't going to stop.
And y'all hear that? Because once you're in something like that, we all try to see the potential in a person. We also try to hope and pray that, okay, maybe they're just having a bad day, maybe this won't happen again. And they always say they're sorry, but it always continues. The next question I like to say, well, basically a statement, not necessarily a question, is go ahead and tell your story, and you can talk as much as you want or as little as you want.
Okay. So it all started off, the abuse, when I was younger. I was just only 21, and we were over to my sister's house, and we got a phone call, and it was a young lady asking for a ride from my husband. And at the time, he was just my boyfriend at the time. And I told him that he couldn't give the young lady a ride in my car.
That's right.
So he turned around and started getting on to me, and we started, going back and forth with each other. Then he started hitting on me, threw his beer on me and stuff. And then so we're going back and forth, because I didn't just sit there and let him hit me. I hit him back.
Yeah.
And we fought back and forth. So he was staying with me at the time, and I just told him that he had to go. And when I told him that he had to go, that really made him mad. So I let him use my car and go back and forth to take his things to his brother's house, and he came back with a pistol. When he came back with the pistol, he had it up to my head, and he told me he would kill me if he could stay there, or
stop right
he
there.
Couldn't have me.
That
nobody
is very
else could.
Good. What she just said, y'all. If somebody is putting a weapon up to your head, and they get to that point of anger where it's just so boiling over like that, where you gotta do something like that, that was the ultimate sign, of a red flag. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Yes. So, needless to say, my brother was staying with us at the time, so he walked around the corner, seen the pistol up to my head, so he ran out, and I stayed right down the street from a police station. So he went there and grabbed the police.
Good.
They came back, they wrestled him down to the ground and took him to jail. While he was in jail, I found out I was pregnant with our first child together. And so I had mixed feelings, and I was so emotional and everything, because you already know you're emotional when you're pregnant anyways.
Yeah.
And he started calling me and everything, and I went and visited him and let him know that I was pregnant and everything. He asked me to forgive him and to give him another chance, and I'm young, so I did.
Yeah.
Thinking that, okay, it wasn't going to happen again. So I take him back. He gets out of jail. They put him on probation. All right, so we're off to another child number 2. And I'm 6 months pregnant, and me and one of my girlfriends decided to go out one day just to get out the house because, you know, it had been a minute since I had been out. And he ends up at the same place as I am. And not supposed to be drinking, but he was. He had a little drinking problem. So he got drunk. He ended up going home with me and my friend after, you know, getting into it with a guy, which happened to be my other child's father, my first son. And he started getting on to me about me protecting the ex-boyfriend, the baby daddy. And so I'm like, I'm not protecting him, but you don't need to be getting in trouble. So he was mad and angry about that. So he started trying to take it out on my child when we picked up my child that didn't belong to him. And I'm like, you're not going to talk to my son like that because he doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, first of all.
And so we get into it in my friend's car, and he snatches my friend's ponytail off.
Oh, no.
So now he involved her in the situation. And
that's doing too much.
Yeah, so when he involved her in this situation, then me and him went back and forth, and I ended up having to hit him upside the head with my heel.
Oh, wait. So I want y'all to know right now. Remember I told y'all before that there are women that I know that are knockout artists. And this is not a show that is just for women only. Because men do go through this as well. Yes. So I don't want y'all to think that I was laughing, because this is a serious situation. I was laughing at the fact because I know my cousin.
Yeah,
and she's not a person that will let somebody, you know, do the things that he's done that far before that even happened. So for her to say that, so I'll let her continue her story.
Yeah, so he hops out of the car with the baby, because remember I just had a baby, but I'm pregnant, you know, once again. And he's walking up the street with the baby. I call the police on him because I want him gone, you know, when I get home. So I get home, the police show up, you know, so it wouldn't go no further than what it already went. And so he's bleeding from the head. So the police was asking him, he want to press charges against me? And he's like, no, you know, she's pregnant with my child and stuff. But they ended up taking him to jail because he had a probation violation.
Yes, because he was having to run in with the police. Yeah.
The pulling the gun on me. So I let it go on way too far, you know, too long, too far, too much. And it just accepted him because I had a child by him, and then I was pregnant, and they ended up locking him up. He stayed locked up for about 2 years or so.
That's a long time too.
Yeah, when he got out, we talked about it. I gave him another chance because we had the 2 children at the time by each other. And so he asked me to marry him once again because we were already supposed to be getting married 2 weeks before he got locked up. So I was like, okay, we'll go ahead and try to work it out for the children, because sometimes you want to work it out so that you can have your child's father there for the children. But children do not keep men. And it does not keep a man from putting his hands on you. That's right. Don't never stay for the children, because...
Remember, I was saying to y'all also that sometimes staying with the abuser when you have kids, it ruins the kids. Because they don't need to see that. They don't need to witness that. All it's going to make them do is grow up and pick someone that's that way, or think that's okay, you know, to be that way.
Yeah, or they'll become violent themselves. So I took him back. We got married. Everything was okay for quite a while. We ended up having 2 more children prior to all of that. And that was the last draw with the baby girl that we had together. She was born, and he was still drinking and
alcohol,
coming home and acting a fool. And so one day we had went and helped my mom out at her restaurant, and when we helped her out, he fell asleep in the car because he was drunk. And then it was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It was time to go. So I tap him like, hey, get up. It's time to go. He just hauls off and punches me.
No.
And when he hauled off and punched me, we tore that parking lot up. And that was the end. That was the last draw that night. And he thought that he was going to be able to come back after he sobered up and
like the past,
apologize like he had been doing. But by then I had 5 children, and I had 4 boys, and I had a long night to think about all of the things that I had already been through with him, and I decided at that point my children didn't deserve to see that anymore. Plus now I have a daughter. I don't want her to see her mom going back and forth and fighting with the man that's supposed to love me.
Yeah, that's not love,
in front of the children, and then she grows up and gets her, somebody that's going upside her head, and I don't think her brothers is gonna have that. So I just let it go. And my daughter's 4 months. I packed up my daughter because he wouldn't let me take my boys. He wants to keep. Oh, I won't keep them.
No.
And then so I said, okay, well, me and my daughter, we're gonna go. We're gonna get away from you. And then you deal with the boys for now. And then, eventually I knew I was going to get him back because he was drinking and stuff. And he wasn't really capable of keeping them anyway. So.
But remember, y'all, stop right there, because remember I told y'all just about last week or so about the kids. We love the kids. And when kids are involved, they play a very important role in the relationship. So by him having a drinking problem and all the stuff that she's saying about how he wanted to keep the kids, and she knew in the back of her mind, like she said, that wasn't going to last. But the main thing is, if you got an alcohol problem, there's nothing that you can really teach the children.
No.
Because they watching what you doing, first of all. And they may not say nothing, but all kids love their moms and their dads. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for your kids. So by me saying that, because what was the next step that you took? What was the plan once you knew that he was going to not be able to handle the boys and come back to you?
So I knew right away that I was going to have to get me and my children a place to live. So I started looking for, me somewhere to live with the children, and then his mom ended up taking the children from him until I did get a place. So once I did find somewhere for me and my children to live, I, got my boys, and we all, stayed together in our home. And then we stayed down there in Kansas for a little while, probably about maybe like a year, after a year or two. And then he really didn't want to get the children and co-parent with me. He kind of wanted to make me suffer and deal with them by myself. So
that's being
I had came up on an opportunity to move down, out of state. Yeah. And I packed up my children. We moved out of state. We've been gone ever since. We don't receive any phone calls from my abuser.
That's good.
He's not involved with the children. And
then he needs to get himself together.
I feel bad for my children because they don't have that relationship, but it's,
it's better off.
Actually, now that the children are older, because now that everyone's a teenager, they're able to call on their own and everything, but they don't want to have anything to do with
it's because of what they witnessed.
And then what they went through. So, you just, if you're going through this, it's like really important that you stop, think about the children. Don't just think about yourself. Yeah,
and
a
lot of people, like even when I went through it, because sometimes you be so caught up in what's happening between you and the abuser that you forget about the kids, and they can be right there in the house, and the kids didn't ask to be here. No, so I don't feel that it's fair that you worried about your heart or your feelings towards somebody when you should be worrying about the kids.
Yeah.
So leaving that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The next question, because I have for you, is after you left, what are you doing today?
Well, so today
and I just want to say before she said, y'all, this is a very strong individual. So you're not saying that you have to be a weak person to go through domestic violence. So I'm a strong person as well. So if strong women are going through it, imagine women that are weak. So once you overcome something like that, reach out to people, talk to other people that you may know that are going through this. So that way, maybe they can say, oh, well, she went through it and she got out of it. Maybe that'll give another person an idea of how they can move forward. Because remember, I told y'all there is life after domestic violence. Yes. That's what this whole show is about. We want you to smile again, be happy again within. Smile, because life is too short to put yourself in a dark, depressive state when you don't have to be.
Yeah.
And I know you may not know how to get out of it, but there's plenty of counseling, there's plenty of resources, there's plenty of people that go through this daily, by the second, and a lot of people don't know how to get out of it. So I didn't mean to cut you out, because I just wanted to kind of stop and just say that this is a very important situation. So it's never too late to tell your story. Smile while you can, because no day is promised to any of us. No. And like I told y'all before, the thing that helped me was Psalms 91. So each person may have a different way to handle things. And I told y'all before I got to the Bible, I was, self-medicating a lot, dealing with how to handle it, how to get back to regular. And I realized that that's not the way. All I was doing was tearing myself down more.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll let you finish. And what are you doing today?
Well, I am working for an infusion pharmacy.
Yes, indeed.
And I have currently started my own business.
Yes, indeed.
And, catering. And so it's starting
hey,
out.
But
so
it's not too late.
Slow,
that's good. The main part is the start.
It's called Chas Eats, and
yes.
You guys can call and get an order. If any of my friends, on my Facebook page, you can see the cards and the dinners and stuff that I make. But yeah, I'm currently just going full throttle with working and trying to get my business off the ground and trying to get those children to graduate that's still home.
Like I said, that is life after, y'all. That's awesome, because who would have known, even though that was 13, 15 years ago, you probably weren't even thinking about a business at that time because of so much chaos, that's going on.
Yeah, I always thought that I couldn't do it because, I'm a full-time mom and I'm trying to work these dead-end jobs to make ends meet, to pay my bills and everything, and I didn't think that I was gonna have time. And it's things do get stressful and hard, but you just have to push yourself and keep going, and then see that light at the end of the tunnel.
That's right.
Because there is one. And so
yes, indeed.
Just keep pushing yourself and realize that once you get out, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
It is.
It's going to seem bad at first, and it's going to hurt you, but hey, you'll feel so much better afterwards.
And like I told y'all last week, love on yourself. Yeah. If you are attracting a lot of abuse from people, whether that's man or woman, that means it's something in yourself that you haven't healed from, the reason why you're attracting, wickedness. And long as you love on yourself, be kind to others, like I always say, lend out a helping hand, that's reciprocity. It's going to come back to you. And even if it doesn't, remember I always say, show those pretty eyes. Because at the end of the day, when you're walking around sad and sorrow, depressed, there's no way that you can help someone else if you haven't dealt with your own personal issues that you've had. Yeah. And even if it's been a month, if it's been 20 years, 2 weeks, whatever it is, whatever the time frame is that you left your abuser, that means you're a survivor. Yeah. And don't let the enemy talk to you about getting in your mind saying, oh, go back, or what if one more chance, or give them, because those are the things that truly happen. A lot of people don't want to talk about that because sometimes it's very sacred to people. They also are kind of just private, people. It's embarrassing. Nobody wants to talk about that. So I really enjoyed the show today. I'm very glad that my cousin Chasidy Davis came on to the show to give us some insight on how you can handle these things. And you heard the plan that she had. Like I told y'all, we had to jump out of state. Yeah. But that may not be for you. Maybe you may have to move just across town. Some people might have to move out of country. It depends on
change their identity.
Yes, it depends on how bad your situation is. So I really hope that this encourages you guys. I hope that you tune in to these shows because there is life after, and the main reason for this show is to encourage and help someone. As I stated earlier, you guys can find me on Facebook at Domestic Violence Survivors Life After, also at Instagram at Von Dillion, also on YouTube, Pretty Eyes the Show. So do you have any other things, Chasidy, that you would like to say to the people to give them an encouraging word?
I just say keep smiling, keep pushing, and keep moving. And if you feel like you're in that situation where you're unhappy, you're getting abused, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, the man's not treating you right, you're not talking to you right, just, you are more important. Your self-love is more important than any
Yes,
kind
indeed.
of love.
That's a word
and
right there.
So you have to just love yourself, even if no one else does. And then especially if you have those children, they deserve better.
Yes. No
And
kids
that's
need to
all I
see
have
that.
to say.
I love that. And that's so true, y'all. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks so much for the love and support. Don't forget, this show airs every Thursday. You can, if you have any questions, hit me up on any of those sites that I just mentioned. I love you guys. Love, peace, and remember, show those pretty eyes. And y'all have a good night, y'all. I'll talk to you next week.